I was like, are kids allowed to go in there? And she just looks at me, she's like, yeah.
Yeah, like, of course, sir. Why would they not be allowed?
Stupid American, why would you ask that question? This is Worldschooling Q&A. I'm Astrid, creator of The Wandering Daughter. As a traveling family, we've spent 4 years traveling full-time to over 18 countries and 6 continents. Wherever we go, we try to learn as much as we can about the countries and cultures we visit. While we didn't coin the term, we like to call this worldschooling, using the world as our classroom. Each week, my husband Clint and I will answer one question about worldschooling and share our experiences of traveling the world with our kids. Ready to get started? Great! Let's dive in.
Okay.
So we are continuing with our country deep dives. This time we're answering the question, how do I world school in the United Kingdom?
Great. So I'm excited to talk about this one. United Kingdom, we've been to a couple times, and actually it's become one of our favorite places, I think.
Yeah.
Which might sound surprising to our United Kingdom friends who are leaving the United Kingdom to go world school elsewhere. We found we really loved the United Kingdom.
Yeah. And I think there's a little bit of a personal thing too, related to that. Like, you know, we love visiting the countries that are part of our family's heritage.
Mm-hmm.
And Clint being like half Filipino, I think the other half, a lot of it is from the UK.
Yeah, it pretty much almost exactly 50% is like from either northern England or southern Scotland and maybe a little bit of Ireland. So yeah.
So this is like kind of a way for the kids to like learn about their cultural heritage, so to speak. And growing up as Americans, you know, we've always been taught like, oh, you know, America gained its independence from England, and we were like a former colony of England. And traveling through the UK really made me see like just how much of British culture has influenced American culture, and we don't even know it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was interesting.
Yeah, right through everything, through food, lifestyle, even how we design our houses, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So let's start with the logistics.
Yeah, I think the first thing is visa. I think it's similar to the United States. From certain countries, there's no visa process. You just show up at immigration. You can get up to 6 months. And I don't know exactly what countries those are from, but they do have pretty strict immigration laws as well.
Yeah.
So from other countries, you'll likely have to go through some sort of visa process. So just make sure you check in with that.
Yeah, and I think the government website, the UK government website, is like really good about providing all that information for you. So it was not hard for me to find like the requirements to travel to the UK for our family from the United States.
Yeah.
I think, so just check out their website for that kind of information.
And just so we're clear, it is not part of the EU and it's not part of the Schengen Treaty. So it is a 6-month visa for United States folks, and it doesn't adhere to the 90-day thing. So in theory, you could go to Europe, like to a Schengen Treaty zone, like France or Spain, spend 90 days, go to the UK, spend 90 days, and then come back to Europe.
Or like 100 days, for instance. Come back to like a Schengen country, kind of do that like shuffle back and forth. If you ever wanted to spend full time in those fairly expensive European countries.
Yeah. The UK does have... They do watch for repeat visitors, though. So that's the only thing I would warn you of. If you are trying to do the Schengen shuffle, it might be better to go, to Europe, go to the UK, come back to Europe, and then maybe go to Eastern Europe, like Kosovo or Bulgaria or something that's not part of the Schengen Treaty, and then come back to Europe, and then you can keep doing that cycle. But that way it allows you to avoid kind of the red flags that the UK have. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about like money.
It's the British pound.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to the euro as far as the value of it to the US dollar. Um,
And pay for things.
yeah, I was just going to say, like, it's easy to get cash. There's lots of ATMs, so you can get cash. But the thing we found probably better than any other place in the world, honestly, better than any other place in the world. Exactly. They have gone almost entirely cashless. So, and when I say almost entirely cashless, I mean literally down to like buskers and like street performers.
Yeah, you can pay using a QR code and it gets connected to their Venmo.
Yeah, or some people have taps things set up for £3. And you just tap and it takes £3.
Yeah.
Instead of like cash tips and things like that. So I wonder if some of that was born after the pandemic a little bit, because we've only traveled to the UK post-pandemic.
Yep.
Or towards the end of kind of the big surge. So
yeah, that's true.
But we're really impressed. I mean, last time we went to the UK, we got cash and barely spent any of it. In fact, we had to actively spend it towards the end just so that we weren't taking cash back home.
Yeah. I think the other thing is related to that. It like being able to do things on your phone means that there's like a lot of internet connectivity wherever you go.
Yeah, we had no problems. The first time we went to the UK, we were there for 2 months. We did get a SIM card. We used the SIM card while we were there. That worked wonderfully. The last time we went there, we were there for 5 weeks, and we just used our US cell service. We're on Google Fi, and that worked wonderfully as well. So we really have not had any issue. Yeah, the home internet and all the places we've stayed, even in central London, a small apartment, has all been wonderful. Yeah, let's talk about getting around
the UK, and also just like why do they call it the United Kingdom?
Oh, maybe we start with that. Like, what is the United Kingdom? I don't know. Maybe some people may not know.
Well, so kind of like the United States, the United Kingdom is a collection of countries. So you have, in my mind, England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. That's how I remember it. But Ireland is like the part of Ireland that's not Ireland, its own separate country.
Yeah. Northern Ireland. Yeah. Belfast is. Yeah.
Yes. And then you have England is like I think probably the bigger country, right? And then Scotland is probably the second largest. Yeah. And then you have Wales and Ireland.
Yep. Yeah. So getting around, there's lots of ways depending where you're at. If you're in London proper, I think the two easiest ways is by Black Car, which are their taxi system. They're really cool. They have actually quite a bit of storage in them. They're really comfortable to ride in. Yeah. And they're everywhere. And they just have this kind of old school look to them. They're really nice. And then the London Underground, their subway system, really convenient, can really get you to most of the parts that you need to get to, with some walking involved. And London's a very walkable city. Yep. Actually, UK in general, walking. I mean, even in the countryside, there's all through England, there are footpaths.
Public footpaths
that you can go on like long walks through private fields and stuff like that. In between places, they do have a pretty robust train system. I don't know if they have a bus system. We never really saw that.
Yeah, I think we mainly saw the trains. Yeah. And then you can also rent a car, which is what we did, to travel around the UK.
Yeah, I can talk a bit about that. Back to the bus system. There are bus systems within the cities, but I just don't know between the cities.
Yeah.
City. So driving can be a challenge for people from the United States or Canada. You are driving on the left side of the road instead of the right side of the road. You are on the right side of the car instead of the left side of the car. It is, if you're renting a car, chances are you're going to get a manual car instead of automatic, which renting cars all around the world is pretty much that. But like, you're going to get a manual car more than likely. So the clutch is the same if you're used to driving manual, but the gear shift is on the left side instead of the right. So you have to kind of get used to that.
The roads are very narrow too. And so if you do end up getting a big car, which is what happened to us when we were in Scotland, you just have to be aware of like the spatial awareness and stuff. Because sometimes like it's a two-way road, but there's really only space for one car to go at each time. So you kind of have to like take turns and things like that.
Luckily, our experience is that UK drivers are pretty patient. They're not as United States drivers tend to be really aggressive.
Yeah.
In UK drivers, British drivers, we've never really noticed any like impatience or anything there.
Yeah. So. No road rage.
Yeah, not that we noticed.
Yeah.
You don't need an international driver's license.
If you're from
the United States, or Canada, England, from an English speaking country, yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about like the pubs.
Okay.
And the pub culture.
Yeah. So we didn't realize it when we first went. We thought pubs were just bars.
Yeah. So we were house sitting. And so that's another thing, just as a side tangent, if you're trying to look for some like affordable lodging in the UK, house sitting is really big over there. And so that's a great, we've done several house sitting gigs while we were in the UK, both in England and in Scotland. So that's a good option for keeping your lodging costs low.
Yeah.
But one of our first house sitting gigs, the host was like, "Oh yeah, there's like tons of pubs you can go to if you need like restaurants and stuff." And I was like, "Are kids allowed to go in there?" And she just looks at me and she's like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Like, of course, sir. Why would they not be allowed?
Stupid American. Why would you ask that question?
And it's true. Not only are kids allowed there, but like the pubs are open pretty early in the morning.
Yeah.
Like sometimes as early as 9 a.m.
So you can get a beer and just hang out with your kids.
They are in some areas like Birmingham, for example, the pubs were incredibly affordable for the four of us to eat.
Yeah.
And it's all like British food, which we'll talk about the food in a second. But like pubs were fantastic.
Yeah.
Some of the pubs were where we would get Sunday roast, which is a British thing on Sundays. So we had a great time. I guess I have an old manager who's a friend of mine. He's British, and when he was growing up, he said pubs have always been kid friendly. Like they always have let kids in. They never had an issue with that. But the pubs used to never sell food. And so the food thing, I think, is kind of a fairly modern thing to try to keep up with the times and keep income going.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And, the reason why we were asking is like in the US, bars are 21 and older. And we always equate pubs with bars, but actually pubs are more just like I think it just means public house.
Yeah.
So it's just a place for, the public to gather and have a beer and eat a meal. So.
Well, and the public houses, the pubs too, like a lot of them are inns. So a lot of them have places to stay, rooms above them to stay. And if your kids are slightly older, like our kids are, and they're a little bit tired from travels, great date night opportunity. Like go rent a room
at a
pub. The kids can kind of hang out, watch TV, or chill out in the room, and you just come downstairs to the pub and have a pint and eat some food and just relax a bit. So it's a great like kind of built-in date night as well.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of the highlights. What are the things that you love the best about the UK and you think like Worldschooling families would enjoy?
Well, for me, it is probably, I talked about this in Italy, where Italy was one of the countries where I just fell in love with driving through Italy. It's just absolutely beautiful. We talked about in the Indonesia episode and the Bali episode, riding scooters and just fell in love with it. UK was another one. I absolutely adored driving through the UK.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It's, when you're in the Scotland area, it's really fascinating because you see these pockets of reforestation happening. And so you have these like rolling green hills that, obviously a product of deforestation over centuries.
Yeah.
But then they have these pockets of reforestation that are happening on those. And it's incredible to see. The UK is very similar to the climate that we have here in Seattle, where it rains most of the year. The temperatures are very similar. So I think we're kind of used to that, and it makes everything green and lush as well. So that was one of the things I enjoyed.
Yeah, my favorite region actually was the Lake District. Just beautiful scenery when we were there.
Yeah, we did not make it to Wales yet. We've heard that Wales is absolutely incredible. We do hope to go to Wales sometime in the next couple of years. So when we get there, we will.
And we also haven't been to like Northern Ireland either,
or Ireland in general.
Ireland, yeah. Either of those. I think kind of related to the landscapes, the castles and like the old homes and the gardens. Like I love visiting those places too.
Oh my gosh. Like
old manors.
Just like you'd be driving down the road and there's like a remnant of the castle right there.
Yeah, Scotland was great for this because we like went hiking and we saw this a castle in the forest. And
well, and what we learned eventually too is that they're not all castles. To us, they all look like castles.
I know.
But some of them are like
fortresses or something.
Fortresses, or what they were called clan homes, where they were like protective, fortresses for clan protection and stuff. So it was like, but anyways, they're everywhere, everywhere. And we never got tired. I'm sure we never did this in front of our British friends, but I'm sure they would hate it. But we never got tired of driving over a road and seeing a castle up on the hill and singing Castle on the Hill.
There's my Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, that was nice.
I loved that. I love the oldness of things, if that's even a term, like just how old things are too. And so kind of speaking back to that, like visiting old homes, like we visited when we were in the England area, like we took a day trip to Stratford-upon-Avon and visited William Shakespeare's home, like childhood home. We went and who is the Scottish writer whose house we visited?
Sir William Scott, is that?
Or oh my gosh, the name escapes me now, but he was a very famous Scottish writer. And he has a home in the Borders region of Sir Walter Scott.
Sir Walter Scott, no William
there
Scott.
You go.
Sir Walter Scott.
Walter Scott. And like we went and visited his home and walked through that. There was just like old manors that we visited.
And also like not just like modern day, like the near the town we were staying in, the little like activity park area with lake and stuff. There's also like an old
a Duke lives there.
Duke lives there. And we're like,
okay,
cool.
Yeah. So I think like the the royalty and the nobility stuff, like that is novel for us as Americans. And we find it fascinating to learn about. And I think that's a great like world schooling opportunity as well to kind of learn about like monarchy, royalty, like at the time when that was important. Why was it important to have dukes and duchesses and people that are responsible for these like big properties and the people that like are essentially working on the land for them. So yeah,
I think it's a good point too. The last episode we did was about the United States, and we left the United States to go world school because we really wanted to get out of the United States and see the rest of the world. We have British friends who left the UK, left England to go world school because they really wanted to get out of the UK. And then we found ourselves really drawn to the UK. We really, really loved a lot of the aspects of it. I think it's a good thing to acknowledge that part of world schooling is getting out of your bubble.
Yeah.
To not only experience other cultures and grow empathy, but like to also reappreciate where you come from.
Right.
Because we're back in the United States now, and I think our world schooling adventures has helped us. Now, granted, for me, that took several years or a few years of processing and going through some emotional stuff, but like really starting to appreciate what we like about the United States compared to the rest of the world as well.
Yeah.
And I don't think that would have happened without experiencing things outside as well.
Yeah, and those conversations you can have with your kids. I mean, it doesn't have to be like fully in depth, but you can, it's like when we were in the UK, we were asking our kids like, "Oh, what are some things about the UK that are similar to the US, or like what are some things that you remember from the US that you notice may have, like come from the UK?" And so like the food, for instance, some of the meals that we ate in the UK, I was like, "Oh, that's like the steak and potatoes that we have in the US."
Like all the steakhouse meals here are very much Sunday roast there.
Yes, exactly. Or I'm trying to think of some other stuff like just
Was it like Thanksgiving dinner where you were like at one point we're eating Thanksgiving dinner was like, this is exactly Sunday, or no, we were eating Sunday roast, and we were like, oh, this is exactly what Thanksgiving dinner is. Like it's like the mashed potatoes and the rolls and the
because the tradition of Thanksgiving kind of came from New England, and those people that like the colonized it they came from England. So I want to say a couple more things about like the history, in that like I think British history is way complicated, and it was really hard for us to really like get a like linear idea of from start to finish. And at one point I think we were walking around in London, and you're like, "How old is," you asked Siri, "How old is London?" And Siri responded, 45. Like, or when was London made or established? And then you're 45, and
it just said 45, and I was like, I think Siri didn't hear me right. I didn't. So then I just typed it into Google, like, when did London start? It said the year 45. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah. So you were like walking through almost 2,000-year-old city. It's just like, oh, wow.
Well, and that's not even including the like before it was called London. I mean, that was the Roman name, like when it was under Roman control, like it was a different city.
Yep.
But it was still where London is now.
Yeah. So there's just like, you've got like all of these wars and battles and things that have happened, and it's hard to keep track of it all, but it's just to say that like it's not hard to feel like or to experience a piece of history and like physically touch it when you're visiting the UK.
And what's interesting is that like it's even palpable too when you go to say Scotland, and Scotland still has this like this is just as an anecdotal or observational from us. We talked to some Scottish people, and it's like there is still a rebelliousness about Scotland and rebelling it kind of against the UK in a lot of ways. And so it's fascinating. Do you want to talk more about the food? Because this is a little bit a hot topic, and we are fairly optimistic people. Granted, we had an episode where we kind of got down on Filipino food. Me being Filipino, but I got down on Filipino food in the Philippines. A lot of people do not like British or Scottish food, but what was our perception?
Oh, we loved it. I don't know why we loved it. I mean, like, in fact, one of my favorite things that like to order, or one of the reasons why I love to order fish and chips is for the mushy peas. And people are like, why do you like mushy peas? I'm like, it's great. It's so like, especially if it's done well, the peas aren't too mushy. They're still a little bit like has pea like characteristics, and then there's a little bit of like mint and a little bit of lemon in there. Anyway,
Can I? Or are you gonna tell the story, or can I?
Tell tell the story.
So briefly, we're at a pub in London, and we're sitting there. We had ordered fish and chips, and we're eating it, and we're eating the mushy peas. And we're also like, whenever there's vegetables on the plate, right? When there's not vegetables on the plate, we get like, oh, I wish there's vegetables. So we always like having vegetables on the plate. So like we eat the mushy peas, and we're like, these are amazing, like really good, really, really, really good mushy peas. And so Astrid goes up to the bartender at the pub, and she's like, your mushy peas are really good. And he goes, I think you're the first person that's ever said that.
I know. He just looked at me like, what are you talking about?
Crazy American.
Crazy American. Anyway. So yeah, the food is great. We loved Sunday roast. That's a great thing. And then the other thing I like is like the tea, the tradition of tea, afternoon tea. If you ever have a chance to like experience like afternoon tea, we did that. We did it in Bath, and I think we did it in Edinburgh too. But just like go to a tea house and try the teas and have the little mini sandwiches and all that stuff. Just that experience. It was something that what I recall like came out of like the aristocracy and then eventually like worked its way to like just the general public.
And it really is just the formal version of what exists in most of the households. Almost every household throughout the day, they'll have tea time, in which case they just have some tea and like whatever little snacks are available. We had it visiting with several British people, our friends, and some other people we met in ways. Yeah, they would pour tea and give us a little. So it was just like that was a common thing. It's just going to the tea houses to do this kind of more formal tea setting.
Yep,
was a lot of fun. What were some locations around the UK that you really liked?
Yeah, so I already mentioned like the Lake District, and we really enjoyed London. There's so many amazing museums to visit.
Free.
Yeah, some of them are free. Yeah, a lot of them. You have to go to the Postal Museum and you have to go to the Science Museum. That's like the two that you need to go to.
And the Museum of History, is it the Museum or the London? What is the
British Museum?
Yeah, the British Museum.
Yes.
Controversial.
Yes.
But worth it.
Yes.
Worth it to also embrace the controversy if that's your thing.
And it's controversial because like a lot of the collection is from, the countries that they colonized. And so
that they stole, maybe.
Yeah. So it's like they're not willing to give that back to those countries. So but still worth visiting. I think another place that you and I both really enjoyed was Birmingham. And
please tell them what the U.S. equivalent is, because
for our American audience, Birmingham is kind of like Pittsburgh, where it's an industrial city basically, and
in the middle of nothing.
In the middle of nothing. Why was it so great for us? Like, what was it that you liked about it?
To be fair, we also loved Pittsburgh, so we went to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's awesome.
We were sitting at a restaurant in Birmingham one night. We're eating dinner and just struck up a conversation with the server, and she goes, "Oh, are you American?" We're like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, great. What are you doing around here and stuff?" We're like, "Oh, we're just on holiday." She goes, "And you came here?" So yes, we did come here.
But what we liked about Birmingham was they have this like fantastic living history museum, and if you're like a true homeschooler, world schooler at heart, you would like living history. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
That would just
say more.
Please tell me more. And basically, they took a town that was like a coal mining town, and they preserved it. And so you can walk through some of the old homes the way that it was during, like, either the 1800s or up until, like, I think the 1940s. They kind of kept some of the they kept some of the buildings to be like representative of different decades, essentially. But like, you see like how people lived, you see like the blacksmith, you see these like old alleys and stores, the stores that people had at the time. And so you kind of understand the role that Birmingham played, or that part of England played in the Industrial Revolution, which basically was like a world changing thing. So we were so fascinated by that. And I think that like helped, at least for me, it helped me appreciate Birmingham a lot.
Yeah, if you watch the show Peaky Blinders, you can actually see pieces of the Black Country Museum, because they do film in the Black Country Museum for part of that.
Yeah.
But Birmingham, I think I grew up in or near working class cities. There's a charm about working class cities in that, they're servicing a population and need to also entertain them in some way, right? And so a lot of their museums, a lot of the entertainment are usually centered around the industry of that town. So whether it's like, a yearly event that celebrates the long history of mining in that town or something like that, right? Like working class cities, they focus on kind of the thing that made them successful. And Birmingham's no different. I mean, we went to the Gem Museum as part of the university, and obviously that's part of the Industrial Revolution as well.
Yeah.
And like that was fascinating. And there's the Cadbury factory is actually in it's not even just a factory, it's like a whole town, or it used to be its own town. Now it's the town.
Yeah, it's like a company town. That's what
we call it. It's now called Brownsville, I think, and it's like a kind of a suburb of, or it's not really a suburb, but it's like a section of Birmingham
or Bourneville.
And so it's kind of its own community now. But it used to be and very similar. So we live in a small town just outside of Seattle, Washington. That was built for the Boeing factory. I mean, the town literally was built for the Boeing factory. And so I think we can relate to a town like this because they literally built this town for the Cadbury factory. And so a lot of, going to the Cadbury factory and reading the history of it and their involvement and in feminist rights and the suffragists, right? Yeah. And the suffragette movement and stuff, like that was fascinating. The fact that they built this town. So I love working class cities. It's a great working class city. It's kind of tucked away in the Midlands area. So it's also just got these gorgeous, like lush surroundings around it. And there's a it was the center point for a lot of the canal system that's in there. Because of the industry, there's this canal system that goes all the way down to London. But there's just these ship canals that are now retired. They don't really ship anything in them now. But they're, these long boats that paddle controlled, and they're just, I don't know, there's a charm about it.
Yeah. You can actually read more about like the West Midlands, including Birmingham, in my on my website. I have an article on visiting the West Midlands with kids.
Yeah.
Why don't you end with like another city that you enjoy?
Yeah. I'm torn. We have a couple listed here, but I'm going to choose Bath, which is probably surprising. You thought I would have picked the other one. Maybe I'll let you end with that one. Bath is beautiful. I mean, it's royalty galore. I mean, I think that's what it screams when I went there.
Yeah.
It's just unique. It's if you've seen Bridgerton, the whole series is based out of Bath. I mean, where they film it in Bath, and these buildings and these things are just, and it's just beautiful. I mean, it's hard to even explain. It's very hilly. The architecture is old, and there's like these Roman baths, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
That's
Roman
why
baths
it's called that.
Yeah. This so it's like Roman architecture. I don't know. It's incredible.
Yeah, and I think one other city I would recommend would be Edinburgh in Scotland. And for those of you who are Harry Potter fans, like that Edinburgh Castle is like J.K. Rowling's inspiration for Hogwarts. So, but beyond like the Harry Potter references and stuff, it's just a fascinating city to be in and just so beautiful to walk through.
Steeped in so much history too.
And again, like I have a couple articles about Edinburgh that you can read on the website.
Yeah, cool.
Is there anything else to add or talk about?
No,
you could go on.
I know. And all these places, just I'm like, oh, I want to go back. So often the challenge with Worldschooling is like, you want to revisit places, but there's so many more places
to see.
There's
just not enough time in our lives to see everything and experience everything.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Worldschooling Q&A with Astrid and Clint. Be sure to check out the show notes for any links we mentioned in the episode, and visit my website, thewanderingdaughter.com, to dive deeper into worldschooling and family travel.
If you like what you hear, please consider supporting The Wandering Daughter on Patreon. It really helps us out and keeps the show going. You'll also get exclusive perks like episode transcripts, additional resources, access to office hours with us, and more. You can find us on Spotify or the podcast app of your choice. If you're listening to this on Spotify, you can tap the bell icon to get notified when new episodes come out. And if you like this episode, please give us a 5-star review. It really helps new people find our show.
If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe and tap the bell icon to get notified of new episodes. You can follow me on Instagram @WanderDaughter or follow The Wandering Daughter on Facebook. Links to these are also in the show notes. If you have any Worldschooling questions you'd like us to answer for future episodes, feel free to throw them in the comments or send us a message at thewanderingdaughter.com/podcast. Until next time, happy travels!
Bye!